every single week. Usually it's Thursdays, but he was traveling yesterday, so he was in the air. Now, boots on the ground there in Atlanta. And we'll pick his brain on things he's watching for tonight in the game. We both had a couple of players that we were looking for. We both talked about pressure that is on some of these players tonight. Stiddy was my name. You brought up Evan Ingram, which was a great addition. And then I also really like what one of our texters said in on Davis Webb. Not this like pressure of, oh, well, he sucked, give it back to Sean. But like, hey, how'd it look? I'll use Sean's words to kind of talk about Davis. Was it a clean operation? So I think those three names with the pressure is a good conversation to kind of have throughout the course of today's show, and maybe we come up with another name or a texter throws another solid idea out there for us.
Yeah, we got solid ideas about that. Mile High Moments. You want to call your shot about the game tonight? Well, let us know. What do you think? And what do you think is going to happen tonight as Broncos take on the Falcons?
We'll talk to Mike Klis. And, Mike, I want to start with that, just that conversation we were having. We both had a couple of players that we were, hey, let's watch this, see if the battle continues. Is there a battle that you're watching tonight, a player that you're watching tonight? Is a backup quarterback battle the most interesting and intriguing competition that we should keep our eyes on this evening?
Yeah, I think there's a backup quarterback competition with it's Jarrett Stidham's job to lose. Just so everyone understands, a tie goes to Stidham.
Okay.
I'm going to watch Jonah Coleman, the rookie. I think everyone wants to watch the rookies. To see if Onyedim, number 98, defensive lineman, if he flashes a little bit. Uwazurike's had a great camp. Everyone's buzzing about Pat Bryant, the job he's done. He's gonna play tonight, the second-year receiver. An underrated battle is I think long snapper Mitch Fraboni.
Wow.
And Luke Basso, the undrafted rookie from Oregon, I think are in a long snapper competition. They might alternate. So that's kind of something to put way back in the back of the mind, but. But that is a competition that's going on right now. And, the number 3 safety, I think, is going to be Devin Key. There's a lot of receivers out. Mims is out, Waddle's out. I'm not sure if Cortland's going to play. So you got you're going to see a lot of young receivers out there. And then the usual little Jordans and Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin. And the starting offensive line will be there except for Wattenberg. They're down to their 4th string center, which is Calvin Throckmorton, who is a guard by trade. But he'll be starting with Gavin Ortega, the undrafted rookie, backing him up.
Yeah, some problems there at the center position. We'll watch that with great interest, Mike. Let's talk about the defensive line. And Tyler Onyedim, I think him and Savion Jones, we're always looking for where's the JFM replacement? It's going to be a collective with Iwazurike there as well. But how excited are you to see Onyedim and Savion? Because, fans out there, we got to see Savion for a game last year when he had a jersey, barely played. I think those are two names that fans could really be excited about.
Yeah, they're both third-round picks. Savion should be ahead since he was there for a full year. But it seems like they're giving more reps to Onyedim, who was a high third-round pick. They really viewed him as a late second. They had him on their board for one of their fantastic mystery 7 that they were going to pick at, I think, number 56 that they were going to take in the second round, and then they traded back to the second pick in the third round and took him. So he's been getting more playing time than Savion. And then right now, Malcolm Roach looks like the starter at the JFM position, and Uwazurike is his big replacement or backup. And so I think it's really between those two. You're right, Savion Jones. And then we'll see on Onyedim if he dresses game one. I right now it looks like he will, but yeah, that's a big position to watch.
Talk with our buddy Mike Klis, and Mike, I kind of got this a general just overall feeling question about the days you've been out at camp. Worth a couple of weeks worth of practice days out there. Do you feel any different about the team now than you did, on July 20th before things got going on out at camp?
Yeah, I was more skeptical about the team when camp started, just because of Bo's ankles and how J.K. Dobbins would look. Everyone was kind of the same. I thought they all might just look a year older, maybe a year slower.
Mm-hmm.
And with the addition of Waddle, but that's a lot of my skepticism has dissolved. This team looks good. They look more confident than they did at this time last year. They got that 14-3 and a playoff win under their belt, and they're all acting like they're going 17-0 and sweeping through to the Super Bowl. Is the vibe and the feeling that you get with this team. Bo looked really good, especially early in camp, the first few days.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some dog days at camp where the offense didn't look so good for 2 or 3 days in a row. We'll see what happens with the backup quarterbacks tonight, but I anticipate they'll move the ball and score some. Both Ellinger and Stidham had their moments. I will, it's going to be one of those things. I'm not sure how to take tonight's game, because even though the starters are playing, it seems like it's about half the starters.
Yeah.
Probably get a better feel and look at the team next week against Green Bay at Empower Field. So, today it's just more of kind of looking at everyone, seeing who pops to me, and react from there. I think, but for the most part, the backup quarterbacks and Jonah Coleman are the people I really want to watch.
Now all I'm thinking about is Super Bowl week, Broncos there playing the Cowboys or whoever, and the chain gang. We're crewing up, you, me, Dover in L.A. Klis, we got to make this happen.
I think we could find some
Broncos
fun, Mike.
got to get to the Super Bowl, but we got to have a chain gang like meetup Super Bowl week.
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl week would be something if the Broncos are in it. I remember in San Francisco 12 years ago, we were kind of isolated. Everything was so spread out there, and it was again this year. But I didn't spend much time in the convention center when the Broncos were there in 2015. I can only imagine what it would be like if the Broncos are there, and what it's like in L.A., SoFi Stadium. I'm going to be there either way. It would be a lot more work, but a lot more energy if the Broncos were there.
Yep.
And they got a chance. I'm not. Things have to go their way. There's a pie in the sky for the Broncos this year, which they are good enough to get to the Super Bowl. And there's a couple players. I'm still a little worried about, or at least observing concern about Bo and J.K. Dobbins, just based on the injury history for Dobbins and all the ankle surgeries for Bo. It's just something that you wonder about the long-term effects. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I think that lives in a lot of the back of the heads of some Broncos fans. By the way, Mike, I know you would be busy. We offer this to our listeners, so we have to offer it to our buddy Mike Klis. We can call your boss and get you out of work if you'd like. We'll make the phone call for you and hey, boss at 9 News, Klis has got to hang with the crew. He's off at 2 today. If you want it, we can do that for you.
I'm going to have to pass. I'm not that secure. The guys who sign my paychecks are not you guys, but I appreciate the thought. I know you do have pull. I don't know what's going on there. We've got things going on at 9 and 31, and things not going on at 9 and 31. So I'm just keeping my head down and showing up.
Work hard.
We got
keep
your
your
back,
head down.
Mike.
That's the right move.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Well, we're thankful you made time for us today. Appreciate you jumping on with us on a game day, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. See you guys.
There he is. That's our guy, Mike Klis. Our Broncos insider, Mike Klis, is presented by Fitness Gallery and our friends over at Monarch Construction and Roofing, and he's just one of our bros. Third member of the chain gang there. Always like catching up with Mike. We can react to a couple things we just learned from him. Plus, I want to talk a little bit about the Nugget schedule that came out, some of the tougher parts of it, easier parts of it, and we'll do that coming up next.